ultimately, I believe we learn about individuals in the Bible to point us to Jesus and the Messiah who comes in the New Testament. And so I just wonder how Isaac and Rebekah point us to Jesus. It's a big question.
It is. Yeah.
I'm trying to think as well. I'm like,
I think like there's definitely faith, right? Like just
faith,
kind of reiterating the amount of trust that every person in this story is offering.
Yeah.
And being of service to, right? Like obeying. Those are all things that I think Jesus seeks from us.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
And then we are rewarded when we do what we're asked to do.
Totally.
You know? And sometimes obeying doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
That's true.
And it's hard and difficult, and you can keep on thinking it's hard and it's difficult, or you could be like, there's a reason why you're asking me to do this, and you'll show it to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Fighting the current is often a very exhausting experience. I feel like I've done that
Oh, yeah.
a lot. And it's just like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, when do you want to get on the train and just, ride the wave or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know what he's asking you to do, and she doesn't know what she was jumping on a camel towards. She just offered water to these camels, you know?
Yeah.
She's like...
Now I'm not sure if they're camels or donkeys.
Right. I think it's camels. Okay. I think so. But I think where I see Jesus in this is...
Yeah.
Like his love, first off.
Yeah.
That he will replace what you lose.
Yeah.
For sure. And listening and praising him are a part of that journey. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. That's like right now where I'm at.
Yeah. That's a perfect answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would agree, and also just add like basically what you already said, but submission.
Yeah.
Like Jesus was someone who had to submit to a very, his life, though many great, beautiful moments of miracles and etc., but he also had to die for humanity. And he even said at one point that he didn't want to do it, but then he said, "But not my will, yours be done."
Yeah.
So we see, in Rebekah and Isaac also that submission of like surrendering a life and going into another.
It's worship.
Yeah. That's a good. Yeah.
Because sacrifice means worship. One of my pastors was talking to me about that, and it's just sometimes when we're obeying, right, it feels like sacrifice. Like you're asking me to sacrifice, I don't know, like this relationship, right? Like asking me to sacrifice my son, right?
Yeah.
And it's really like, do you believe in me?
Yes.
Do you honor me? Like, will you worship me?
Yes.
And that's why they say, like, well, if it's God's will, then yeah, of course, we will not challenge that.
Right.
And just that kind of like
resolve,
authority.
Yeah.
Right. And it made me think so much about like me as a modern woman, or just like being a woman of this, like whatever this time is, and trying to do right, like for myself, but not even in the sense of like for myself, but like for God, to bring God my best, right? And I've had my own walks. I've had like my own exits and being turned back, and God's so good to like always kind of guide me back, and
absolutely,
just understanding like sometimes the idea of submitting can be taken negatively,
right?
And being a woman of color, like it's just like, no, like I don't want to submit to what anybody would tell me to do. Like, how dare you, like I have my own autonomy, I am my own person, like how dare you want me to change my whole life for you, right? I'm not that malleable, right? I'm not
it's a good point.
Like I'm not 15, I'm not 20, right? I'm not like, I'm not that age where you think like you can just take advantage of me, right? And that's so real, right? Like we want to just feel like, oh my goodness, I have choice. She has choice. She still has choice. But there's also like, God's asking you to do this.
Yeah.
Will you follow?
Will you follow? Yeah.
Will you follow? And it's so hard.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know? It's so hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree.
And you have to like lean in, you know? Even when it's scary. Because like, it could lead to such a beautiful blessing.
Yeah. Here we are, and we have a new guest. Her name is Vera, and I'm so excited she's here. And I'll let you introduce yourself if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Vera Amaya. I am...
Wait, what's your full name?
Amaya?
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah.
I think I did know that. Okay.
Yeah. What's your last... Strange.
Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does your last name mean?
Weird.
My last name in... I believe it's in Japanese and in Arabic. It means night rain.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, because it's not Maya, it's Amaya.
Yeah.
And
pretty.
then Vera means truth. I'm an artist as well. I just finished 2 different films, and I'll be doing a screening, I think at the end of this month or the beginning of next month. And yeah, I am really happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. I'm really happy you're here.
Thank you.
Is awesome. So we're going to be talking about Isaac and Rebekah. Isaac is the son of Abraham and Sarah, who we just studied. You'll probably have seen that video previously at this point. And Isaac is someone who we don't really learn too much about in the Bible, but we did study Genesis 24, which is basically the story of Abraham's servant going to search for a wife for Isaac, and Abraham specifically instructs him to go back to his homeland, his native land of Ur. Abraham instructs him like, an angel will go before you and basically lead you and provide the wife. And he also says, hey, if she says that she doesn't want to come back with you, that's fine, it's her own choice. But the servant goes very prayerful and asks God, like, please reveal this woman to me. He asks for something very specific, a very clear sign. And the sign is basically her generosity. It's like a symbol of, or a gesture of generosity of providing him and his camels water.
Right.
And is it camels or is it something else?
Camels, yeah.
How I interpret that is like he wants to see if she has a generous spirit.
It's just like the servant was, do you have room and board for me that I could stay in?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. There's like, there's space.
Yeah.
And I'm from LA. I'm from a big city girl. Like, you know, my mom's like, don't look at that person, you know, that's your neighbor. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, trust no one, you know, or like a lot of like protection and just the kind of openness of that.
Yeah.
Right. Like it goes into discernment.
Yeah.
It goes into just how God speaks through us. Like, again, going back to, I want to talk to that person. That person seems like there's something there. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes like there's little things that kind of guide you.
Yeah.
Maybe now it's like a TikTok video or something, you know, but there's like, or something someone says. I do believe like God definitely uses people and speaks through them for us.
Absolutely.
Which I think is really beautiful. But what we were talking about, having like God's eyes and ears. Yeah. I think when first like going over it, because this is new, I had never like read this story. I was just really looking at so much about the kind of heart they were looking for this woman, for Isaac, right, for his wife. And also I find myself sometimes when I'm talking with God, I'm like, I ask him these questions. It's just like, okay, if you show me this, like, and lead me to this, like, does this mean that you want me to be going on this path, right? And not to say like it's so simple, but sometimes it seems like it is, you know. Or just that when you're really asking like the Holy Spirit, you're asking God to kind of like guide you, to have like an angel come before you, what that looks like. And so I was really mesmerized by the way that the heart they were looking for. Yeah. And I think as a modern woman, one of the biggest things like I talk with God about is just, please like keep my heart soft. Please like don't let these things that have happened in my life or the experiences I've had like make me colder or make me not as open or receptive, because I know and I remember how soft and loving my heart was as a child, you know, and just like the love you innately want to give and want to
so good.
also receive, right? And so when thinking about that heart posture of just somebody being so kind to be like, do you need water? Or like somebody asks for water and you're like, of course. And then, hey, actually, let me feed your travel, you know, like these animals too, because they're living things as well that exist and are guiding, and you don't know what somebody's going through a lot of the times. Abraham's servant asks Abraham, what about if she doesn't want to come back? Like that to me was mind-boggling. The fact that they had that kind of awareness for her, right? Because it's saying that, like we were talking about, that there's choice, but that she can say no, which is our free will, right? And that to me was like, how many times have I been on a journey where it's just like, I could say no, I could say yes, and I decide to take that leap of faith, right? I decide to say, why not, right? So those two parts were like really strong, and they're early in because everything kind of starts happening because God provides, right? So you, in a way, like it's setting up the story. It's like the first 15 minutes of a film.
Absolutely.
With Rebekah and Isaac, like I forgot the servant's name, but like
you know what's interesting? The servant doesn't have a name.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. So I was like, sorry. He has a name, right?
He does have a name in history, but we don't know what it is.
Right. But just, I thought that was really beautiful, and it speaks so much about like when you pause, like you give yourself that moment to pause, right? He pauses to pray, and even like before his prayer's done, like she shows up, and then he rejoices because you've led me to the place of my master, right? And just that kind of gratitude towards that, which I think kind of sets up the heart posture for who you're seeking, right? Like I personally feel like your heart will be mirrored, and the intention is coming through with the servant, right? And so Rebekah's kind of like being called to that too, innately, which is probably why she just gravitates. You know, you ever find yourself like gravitating towards a person because you innately feel like there's something there. You know?
There's like a safety or like a purity in spirit or something that feels like, okay, I can trust this. And even if it is an unknown, because she was definitely walking into a very unknown situation, moving to a new city or, you know, land, and didn't really know who Isaac would be or what his character would be like.
That is wild. That part was just like, oh my gosh, because I'm like a very visual person, so I just like saw them walking back into this field, right? They say like it's like early dusk, kind of like late afternoon, early dusk, and he's by his mother who's passed, right? And in the field, and then he sees the servant coming with this beautiful woman that is on these camels, and he looks up, she looks up. I'm like, rom-com, hello. But that's kind of what it feels like. And like you can hear the wind. Like to me, I could hear the wind. I could see like the brush moving.
Very much a filmmaker.
At least for me, I saw the picture, you know, and in a way, it's like when you make that choice to just believe. When you choose to just trust. Right? And I think like it's faith, right? We see that she doesn't even, there's no doubt, right? And so much, at least like I've had moments, I've been in moments currently in the past, like where there's doubt that creeps in. There are moments where like you are trusting and having faith in ways that you don't see, but you just have to kind of feel, hear, like just be guided, right?
Absolutely. The trust in this is really profound because I feel like I've been hearing amongst my friend group just a lot of transition and moving into new seasons and unknown, and and I think it's hard sometimes to know, like, what is the right thing to do. And, Vera was talking about a fast, which, helps with your discernment, helps with clarity and that kind of thing. And, we only know what the Bible tells us, and we don't know if, she went into a room and cried, or if she was having doubts at one point. We don't know her process necessarily. However, we do see the end result, which is that she was like, I'm gonna go. And it's interesting too, because Vera and I had talked about how originally when the servant goes to the brother and the father, he's explaining the whole story of how he met their daughter and how he believes that she's the woman who is meant to marry Isaac.
Yeah.
And the father and the brother are like, well, if this is the Lord's will, like, what choice do we have, basically?
Right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually the next day when they wake up, it's the mother and the brother the mother is the one, can we give her 10 days?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that, honestly, that
makes sense.
Makes sense. The mom is like, wait, hold up.
Because this is one thing where, like, I found it so, the trust and, like, the submission.
Yeah.
The surrender.
Yeah.
Because once the servant finds her and she offers to water the camels, the servant rejoices, and then what he does is he puts a nose ring and golden bangles on her. And I was like, and I'm looking at you with your nose ring, right? And I'm just thinking about, like, what did a nose ring mean to them at that time?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what kind of promise is that?
Yeah. I did actually look it up because
you did?
I did.
Amazing.
I was interested because I'm like, I honestly.
I'm so glad you did.
Thank you. It's interesting because I thought that I was always under the impression that the Bible discouraged, like, body jewelry for some reason, but maybe that's maybe it discourages tattoos. I don't know. But in any case, I was like, what, nose ring? I've never even read that in scripture before.
Yeah.
But it's supposedly for Hebrew women, they would wear a nose ring in the right nostril, not the left one like I do, but the right one. And also it's signifying her change in status. It's like, you are now a soon-to-be married woman.
Yeah.
And also the fact that it's gold or whatever, it's value, it's wealth. So not only is her status is changing from, maid or maiden or whatever, single to
virgin.
From virgin to soon-to-be married. She's also going into a wealthy family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, because I remember just, like, thinking that, and I was like, wow. Like, to wear, like, a golden bangle, yes, the material, like, a lot of what the material is, and just nose ring, because when I was younger I had, like, a nose ring, and then seeing you with, and that's so interesting that it signifies, like, maybe, like, we have so many different forms of, like, sharing that we become women, right? We're transitioning into womanhood in our society now, this day and age, but just also, like with wedding rings, right? Like the left hand, it's like a wedding ring on that finger, and left side for, like, the nose ring. Interesting. Like, just all these, like, kind of parallels, right?
Yeah.
Just different, same but different.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the perspective of being a servant.
Yeah.
So, like, I imagine, right, like, because the servant is so, you're on set. You need to find something. You don't know where it is.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I want to do good because I want to get hired again. Yes. I want to be seen that I'm, like, capable of doing things. You want to be recognized that you can fulfill a task.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what this person is doing, right? Like, this person is trying to not only, like, serve their master and their master's God, right? Like God, but like also trying to be humble and good and show that, like, even though, like, he has the space to come back, and that his task is, like, over if the person denies, but the fact that it becomes fulfilled, that it's bestowed upon him, and that, like, he's so humble enough to understand or thankful that, like, somebody wants to come back, right? And just that heart posture, right? It's so beautiful, because it's just, I'm trying to do good by the person who takes care of me.
Right.
And do good by and do good by the person by God who takes care of the person that takes care of me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. When Isaac and Rebekah are married, this is Genesis 24:67.
Yeah.
And Isaac brought her into the tent of his mother Sarah and took Rebekah to be his wife. Isaac loved her, and he was comforted after his mother's death.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like companionship after a tragedy, you know, and it's like, you know, it's actually, I kind of have this belief, and I don't know if this is how God works really. Like, I'm not sure if it's like he works like this every time, or if it's just that it's something that I've experienced in my own life. But sometimes when you lose something, you gain something else. And
completely.
Most recently, just last December, I lost my grandmother. But on the day of her funeral, my dad showed up to the funeral, and my dad is someone who has struggled a lot with houselessness and his mental health. And he was on the street for 20 plus years. But he showed up to the funeral, and he has been like a transformed person ever since.
Oh,
yeah,
how beautiful.
Yeah, and so it's like we lost my grandmother, but we gained my dad, you know.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and my dad and I have been like regrowing and rehabilitating our relationship.
That's so gorgeous to hear.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry about your grandma.
Thank you.
That's also beautiful to hear about with your dad. When we feel pain or there might be just some type of maybe heavier experience or existence, something going on, that we focus so much just like so insular, and it becomes just about us and our emotions and our feelings, and it's really easy to be isolated. It's really easy to kind of stay isolated too.
Totally.
But to kind of remember the we. Like today in church we did this prayer where it was with I, but then it switched to we, and I thought that was beautiful.
I like that,
because it is we. It's not only about us.
Yeah.
And when you put that heart posture, you remember that others are hurting too. And I think, at least for me, and when you have like maybe more of God's like heart like within you, you're just like the biggest crybaby about everything. At least I know I am, and I find myself being like putting myself in the shoes of others all the time. If I'm going through heartache or some type of something broken, it's just I also think about them, and it hurts. It's like I don't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
We don't want to also be hurt.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, where do we land? Right. It's like, God, like show me how to. What's that? There's a TikTok thing about that. It's like like show me how to like keep my heart soft. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that comes with the trust and still deciding to be open, to try again, to choose to seek love and trust that God's got you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for being with us today. We really appreciated just the time that we got to spend together.
Yeah.
And also with you. And we just want to, send God bless to all of you who are watching. Hope you have a good day, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.